He was very, very pleasant about it and reminded me of my childhood days in South Africa when I was fondled and cared for by him.
One more dawn, cold and clear in the Delhi winter, with the dew crisping the lawns of Birla House, and Gandhi methodical with the custom of many years.
Well, that day, it was 30th of January, and Friday, and he began usually as he used to get up at 3 o'clock. He began his day, had his prayers. Then the whole day he was very busy.
Brij Krishna Chandiwala had slept as usual at Gandhi's left side. At 8 o'clock he massaged him, while Gandhi read the morning papers.
He was intending to go to Wardha. There was going to be a conference.
But first the Maulvis, the Muslim priests of Delhi, had to be consulted. Only if they felt secure enough to release him would Gandhi leave Delhi.
The Maulvi said that it will be a test, that if you go out, we will see whether in your absence we will have peace or not. So it is good if you go out. So he was allowed to go. Then he had interviews up to 4 o'clock. At 4 o'clock he got up and he asked me to see Sardar Patel and make arrangements for a train. At about 4:30, Sardar Patel came himself and wanted to see him. At that time he was having his meals, so Sardar saw him and they had some very private talks. 5 o'clock was the time for prayers, but the talks did not finish, so we were all very anxious. He came out, and as he was very particular about having his prayers at the exact time, he began to rush to the prayer ground.
Prayers were held on one of the lawns, where there was a small pavilion. The crowd had gathered waiting for him. Among them was Robert Stimson, the BBC correspondent, who broadcast the same evening.
At 5 Indian time, Mr. Gandhi came out of Birla House. And because he was a little late for evening prayers, he stepped more briskly than at any time since his fast. He was wearing his usual white loincloth and a pair of sandals. He'd thrown a shawl round his chest, for it was getting chilly. His arms were resting lightly on the shoulders of two companions, and he was smiling. There were only 200 or 300 people in the garden, and they pressed eagerly towards him as he climbed the steps leading to the small raised lawn where the congregation had gathered. As he got to the top of the steps and approached the crowd, he took his arms from the shoulders of his friends and raised his hands in salutation. He was still smiling. A thick-set man, in his 30s, I should say, and dressed in khaki, was in the forefront of the crowd. He moved a step towards Mr. Gandhi, took out a revolver, and fired several shots.
At that time, I was just behind him, and he was, all those who had collected theirs, they were offering their Namaste, Jai Hind, and were saying pranams to him. Then at once I saw that he had stopped. I couldn't think what had happened. So I heard then 3 shots. I couldn't understand what had happened because I had not thought that somebody would fire at him. So I moved and came in front of him, and I saw that blood was oozing out. Then I understood what had happened. For a few seconds he was standing, and at once he fell down, and he was dead.